Main, first woman to do it at the Chili Bowl last year. She'll try to march her way back to the front, hopefully lock it in here tonight. To the outside of her, Jory Hughes out of Redondo Beach, California. Riley Kreisel and Adam Andretti make up row number 2 with the Demon, who you just heard from, inside of row number 3. And to his outside, Patrick Ryan out of Springfield, Illinois. Row 4 starters, Colton Hardy out of Phoenix, Arizona, and Alex Vandevort, who was upside down in hot laps on Sunday. He's out of Knoxville, Iowa. And Michael Buddy Kofoid rounds out your first heat race all the way from the 9th starting spot out of Pen Grove, California. So we'll keep an eye on how Buddy does from the back, of course, and the battle for the points at the front. Again, passing points, the name of the game for our heat races. Caleb, you want to break down how that works out?
It's pretty basic. You win the heat race, you get 100 points. If you do it from the pole, it's worth 5 additional points from every step backwards that you win it for. So second gets 105, third gets 110, fourth would get 115, etc., and so on. There's a wonderful passing points format available on @Walkapedia on a graphic that he has just put out there. That's @Walkapedia_. Oh, hey, the NFT thing's working again. All right, so we're on it.
Cameras, real quick, get them out.
All right, yeah. Scan it, claim it. Big thanks to Tezos, as you could win all kinds of good stuff if you do it, and you're getting the first ever commemorative Chili Bowl digital collectible. It is Flow Sports' first racing NFT if you had just done the scanny thing in the bottom left corner of your screen. Anyways, point scoring, it's all about points. Where you start, where you finish, that gives you a score. We take the top 40 in points out of these heat races, and we move them on to our qualifiers. If you don't make the top 40, it becomes a long night for you, as you've got to go into the C, and then you got to go through a B, and then you got to get into the A main from there, which is an adventure just to make possibly an E-main on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You know, that's the biggest deal tonight for a lot of these drivers, is just to first, let's get into tonight's big show in the A-main, then see what we could do from there. But it's a tough road to hoe for sure if you're coming from deep and you have to run a C-main or even a B-main here tonight, starting deeper in the field. So it all starts now, and so that roll down the ramp for your heat race is probably the most important opportunity for you to get yourself and your mind right and get yourself focused, because your whole week pretty much starts here in tonight's heat race action. It'll be interesting to see what happens again with the talent sprinkled throughout these heat races. And of course, yesterday we saw our highest point driver in Camden McIntosh go 6-1. I would like to think maybe we could get a little bit farther back, maybe a 7 or 8-1, depending on how this racetrack looks.
Yeah, I think quite a bit unknown here for these guys on this racetrack. When they were out on it, it was pretty much grease, still a second off the pace for your fastest person in this first group. So these guys are going to be going a lot faster around the racetrack right here on a track that feels completely different than what they felt before. And that's where, if you're on a multiple car team, that you have these notes and people to bounce ideas off of, that's really, really beneficial. So interested to see, you know, how Kaylee Bryson does from the pole. Obviously, I think everyone expects her to check out and win the deal. And we talk about the big no-no: don't jump the start.
Yeah, huge in this one, and especially considering how good that row in behind her, and specifically the inside line in behind her, is with a driver like Riley Kreisel, who you feel like Kreisel is just waiting for a big breakout moment. He's got the talent. I mean, anytime that he is up there competing against the, quote, national guys, you always see the speed out of him. Now it's just opportunity for him to go out and prove it.
Yep, and if I'm Jory Hughes, I'm playing all sorts of games that I can play on Kaylee Bryson. You know, Kaylee's nervous, kind of anxious about her draw there, knows that she absolutely has to win this to be competing at the end of the night. And so I'm playing any little game I can play to get her to jump, because I like my odds a little bit better with Riley Kreisel next to me than I do with Kaylee Bryson.
Absolutely, and Kaylee right up to the back of our pace truck for heat race number 1 of Warren Cat qualifying night number 2 of 5 preliminary nights here at the 37th Annual Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals, broadcast today on Flow, presented by NOS Energy Drink.
So to put it in perspective, Clinton, for a 1-to-1 run is worth 100 points. 1-to-2 is not a complete death knell. 91.5 is what that is what worth. However, you certainly want those extra 9 points to put yourself midway, at least last night would have been, within the invert of those qualifiers to again come through, try to win, and be in the 216-point range for your A main event. I mean, all it took last night was 216 to get up and on the very front row pole for the feature.
Yeah, I think I like those 9 extra points winning from the pole, as opposed to going second, starting further back in a qualifier, trying to make up 9 points in your qualifier that you didn't get in your heat race. So our lights are out, our cars are lined up, and we're about to see what we get. Keep your eye on Buddy Kofoid coming from the back row.
See how he dices and slices through this field. From the front row, it is Bryson and Hughes, Kreisel and Andretti, Gardner and Ryan, and a whole host of others coming off of quarter number 4. Night number 2, the Chili Bowl's underway. Green lights are on. The start is good, but there's a car rolling to a stop at the top of turn number 1. We're going to have to try it again. And that is Van de Voort in the 75X.
So issues continue for Alex, shaking his head, not sure if this is a terminal issue or what. We'll see if they try to refire him, at least an opportunity to roll around half the racetrack to get that 75X under power.
Important here, and this is for scoring, the passing points table is based on the drop of the initial green as the field comes to form up for it. Van de Voort, who will now push off to the back of the line, is going to be 9th, but will be scored as if he started 8th. Kofoid, who is now going to start 8th, will be scored as if he was starting 9th as far as the table goes.
I almost don't that I love that if I'm Buddy Kofoid.
Yeah.
I think I'd almost rather have the back row to myself, kind of free to lane change, make the decisions I want. But he is going to be trying to be really aggressive here with Colton Hardy on the inside and tucked down just in front of Hardy on this start and split between him and Gardner.
Try to follow the train through as far as he can.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole row that he's picked off before he even went green. So look for Buddy Kofoid to be really aggressive on Colton Hardy's right front here.
Attempt number 2 as Bryson and Hughes, your front row, underway. Heat race number 1.
Kaylee Bryson with another good start. 3 wide in and behind him, and Kofoid has to tuck in the line. You saw him as Hardy on the inside trying to follow Gardner through, gets too far out of the groove. Buddy moves forward as you're looking at the Demon in the 71, trying to shuffle back Hughes another position. Bryson leads, Kreisel second. Now Gardner too high up the racetrack, tags him, and we got cars together and in trouble. Front straightaway, we have got our first flip of the night.
Second night in a row, first heat race, first flip of the evening. Hard hit there for your 2 competitors. A little bit surprised, guys, we didn't see Kaylee Bryson have the best start. She got tied a couple times and didn't really run away and hide like we kind of expected her to, and Buddy Kofoid really making his way through early.
Up to 3rd now as we anticipate this race getting restarted, as we've actually gone into red flag conditions.
Yeah, it was a heavy impact on the front straightaways. We'll get the medical personnel over there. You see Damian Gardner moving around, car right-sided, and they already have on all fours the other vehicle that was upside down. Can't make out a number. Obviously, some of that chain link fence, as you can see on the left side of your screen, as Gardner's car kind of rode the wall with the belly pan. As we'll go downstairs, Brian Ward is on the scene. Brian, what can you tell us?
Well, the other car is the 11H Jory Hughes. Stood up in the seat for a moment and then right back down. I think the red flag came out because we've got extensive damage to the fence here. When that car got up in there, did a lot of damage to the chain link, bent a couple of the bars that hold the cabling together, so they're going to have to do some work there. But the front end of Hughes' car is pretty damaged. If you get a look there, the shock dragging on the ground as they hooked up. The right side radius rods both broke off, and now we're going to get a hook on Gardner. It looks like the right front spindle has all been out of shape. Can't quite tell what all damage, but it's enough to prevent him from continuing. You can see a lot of the right front got in the wall. You can see the bead of that wheel is pretty scarred up. So they will take Gardner to the infield, and we will have a little bit of time here while they work on the fence. They've already got a new pole in here. They're going to replace one of the smaller poles that hold some of the cabling together.
Prelim nights are just not Damian Gardner's friend here over the last few years. As let's get a look at the iBox Springs replay of how it all went down. Gardner coming off high, and Kofoid contacts Gardner into Hughes. Hughes stuffs it. Gardner comes down. Broken race car parts as well.
Yeah, I think Damian's got a broken shock, but we're going to have time here for these guys to get some stuff done in the Dave.com work area.
Are they going there? Are they prepped to work on it? I guess that's the next question.
Well, they've made a couple trips there already today.
Yes, they have.
And it looks like they're going to go ahead and stop. Not sure if they're going to drop him off of the hook just yet. Damian's helmet is off, but again, this is going to take some time. And, you know, for those of you maybe just tuning in, there is guaranteed work area time during the A mains on each of these prelim nights and, of course, on Saturday, but nothing guaranteed, although a red flag certainly helps as long as it's deemed an open red, which it indeed has. So you can see work already underway on the right side, right front of that race car. You can see looking more toward the axle or the bottom part of the shock tower.
I wonder if that arm fell off the axle. If we could get our camera around the other side, we'll definitely be able to see. And Brian's down there. He can let us know what's going on, too.
Yeah, guys, they're trying to change this right front and the radius rods, but the mount on the front axle that holds your right front shock, the lower mount on it, has broken off the axle. So I don't know if they're going to be able to swing a whole new front axle in here, but they are definitely calling for parts up the ramp and getting some things unbolted. The right side radius rods, they're unbolting them from the front axle, and I think they got them unhooked on the left side as well. So we'll see how long this red lasts. I will keep you updated on what they get done here.
Unique thing on this car, as opposed to more of the midgets in the field, is this is a torsion bar front car, so you don't have to replace any coil springs. That's not going to hurt you trying to get them off.
So they are going to have to change this axle, though, because your shock flag is connected to your radius rod. It's all on one system here, right? Your shock mount's not on a separate flag from your radius rod. So it is going to have to be a whole axle change here, I believe.
Wow. And it is sheared. You can see it in that picture. The whole bottom of where that's supposed to be is gone.
I was thinking for a second that they were lucky that this is a 4-bar car, because, you know, they could technically go out there without a shock and crank a bunch of weight in that right front and try to just hold it up just to, you know, get a couple cars. But looks like they're going to go ahead and try to make the whole change. That's the broken flag they're pulling off right there.
So this is a process that you're familiar with, Clinton. Now, granted, we run smaller parts, and you've got a little bit different left front as far as the steering arm system goes in these. But swapping out a midget axle and swapping out a sprint car front axle are remarkable.
Just everything goes fairly smooth here. No one panics and rushes and try to force something, because it's kind of a tight fit there. And they do have this panel that has the stickers on it. That could definitely make things a little bit interesting. I'd probably be ripping that off if it was me, just to get yourself a little bit more room to get your hub through there and some room for your axle to slide.
See Brady Bacon down there with impact wrench. You've got, looks like the disconnect on the other side, so they're going to pull it out on the left.
Yep, so they just disconnected the panhard rod from the front of the axle, slide that entire thing out. So we should see the new one coming through. Bare hub, I would think. No tire. You're not going to be able to fit the tire through. Different style hub, which it was that 3-point.
See, there's that panel.
1, 2, 3, bingo.
Just those 3 Seuses would just make life easier.
Okay, that first thing that the guy is grabbing with his left hand there, that's the lower shock bracket that we were talking about, that's sheared off in the previous axle.
And they do have their arm above the axle, which is proper.
On a roller? Well, it's got the brackets for a roller pin, but it's not going on a roller pin. They're doing a really good job of being efficient and not panicking on this. And again, with your fence repair almost complete, but they're close. They're not super close, but it's put a couple of radius rods on, bolt up, and go.
For sure, yeah, just finishing the bottom of that chain link.
And they've got to get all the cars fired off still. So
and a lineup set, too, as well. So, yeah, definitely don't want to panic. You're in a good spot here. Make sure you kind of do your due diligence. Every bolt is tight. Nothing's left behind, but it's really good job by this crew. They need to get Damien's helmet back on.
Someone needs to get his helmet on. That's literally just somebody handed the helmet to him, but he's got to be as ready to go as the car is.
Yep.
So, and now they got to get the tire on, tire and wheel.
And that should be the last thing.
So
they're only going to have 3 nuts from that other axle, because it's different style, so be strategic about where you put your 3.
There you go. Now somebody handed Damien a helmet and said, get buckled up, son, you're going back out.
That's the entire reason that I didn't run a 3-lug.
Guys, if we can go around to the left front, I think they're having issues because the wheel has bolts where your 5 hub should go.
Oh, they got a new left front tire.
Just go back and get the old yeah, there you go.
Wow.
Clutch to have that available too, because that could have been disaster. All cars have been fired, but not even close to getting a lineup, so if they can get this finished.
Just outside the right side of the screen, almost looked like a crash cart that was sitting down there, like of everything that you would need to get and ready to go. We still got, safety workers and vehicles on the track, so he's got 1 more second.
Hats off to that crew.
Well done.
And the cheers to the crowd there over in the pit bleachers.
Brian is down and on the scene, and microphone in hand. Brian, you're live.
Yeah, there was a lot more that we could see. They had to change a right rear shock. It is they had to take the old shock, and they just duct taped it around the down tube on the rear of the car when they put a new shock on. There was another line coming off of it, and you'll have to excuse my ignorance on it, with the other cable coming off that right rear shock. They couldn't get the whole thing disconnected, so they just taped the old shock up there, put the new shock on, and then like you guys were talking about on the hub, they went from that 3-spoke hub to a hub that had 5 or 6 studs coming off on it, so they had to went back with the old right front tire as well, and it is pretty beat up, but they had to put that right front on because they didn't have the right hub there to match them up.
Well, he's away, so he lives for 6 more laps. As you can see, the shock.
wow.
Oh, my goodness.
The
on
shock
the right
and
side.
the gas canister is what Brian's talking about there.
Yeah.
And that's the adjuster cable that's going out to them for their cockpit adjustments that they just taped up. I mean, you don't have to have that on there to have a functional shock. Just have it functioning correctly. A whole new question. Well, Damien's got a shot at it. Chip in a chair, buddy. Make it count.
Still have 6 laps in this opening heat race, so opportunity to at least pick off a few, salvage something, but man, a lucky break with that fence repair too to get that done.
I don't know if that was Chase or Jason who was down there in the work area shooting that, but good job to our Flow Camera team on that one. Chase's birthday, by the way. Happy birthday, Chase.
Yeah, we had some cupcakes to celebrate. But back to kind of what was going on right before that red flag situation, Buddy Kofoid. Look at where he's going to be lined up now, I believe in the 3rd spot. Or are they going to score him 2nd, depending on if they cross the start-finish line? I remember made that move up underneath.
He was not ahead of Kreisel.
I don't think so either.
But, yeah, I mean, you take the spot until they tell you you can't have it. So, unless something's happening to Riley Kreisel that we're not aware of. Wow. Well, Buddy Kofoid.
Terry Maddox is talking to him, so hopefully we get some clarification. They've got, I didn't know if it was...
Buddy winning this race is not out of the question
No,
at all.
it's not.
Like you said, we talked about Kaylee not having the best first lap that we've seen, but...
that guarantees him high point if he wins this.
Yeah. Wow.
Lights are out.
Buddy
so
Kofoid with a gift.
Again, scored on the initial start 9th, got a gift to 8th on the 2nd start, picked his way up to now 2nd after the Riley Kreisel to the rear. And now with 6 laps, it's KKM 1-2 as we're back under green in heat race number 1. Much better start for Kaylee that time.
Yeah, she's going to have to get out and wrap it. And I say that, Buddy knows the value of going 9-1, but 9-2 is plenty good. That should be worth 133 as it sits. As you look at Gardner rapidly working his way back up the field.
Yeah, he's going to be scored 4th as Kreisel's having all sorts of issues with Vandervoort. And I believe Andretti back there as well. But there's the battle up front. How patient is Buddy at the end of this race? He's right there. Really good run off of turn number 2 that time.
Doors open down low, coming off of 4. Kaylee getting down there. Gets the door closed on Kofoid, who rotated that car really early to try to sneak underneath. He's going to continue trying the bottom groove coming off the corner as the white flag is out one more time around.
Yeah, Kaylee just needs to slow down a little bit here and hit the bottom, and Buddy's not going to drive around her, but she kind of keeps leaving the door half open. I get the feeling Buddy wouldn't be afraid to kick it on through as
that was it.
Can't get the job done. And Damian Gardner gets around Colton Hardy at the line.
That's huge.
So scores 100 for Kaylee Bryson. Buddy Kofoid going 9-2. It's actually worth 128. 128 for Buddy. And then Gardner 5-3. 96 points on that one, but still just impressive that they got the car back out there and he could move forward like he did.
Wow, heat race 1. That's a full night's action in itself, basically.
No kidding.
Crashes, open reds, last lap passes.
A bunch of octogenarians changing out a front axle. That was cool. Let's go up top to Georgia.
Well, Kaylee Bryson getting it done in heat race number 1. And Kaylee, does the dynamic change at all when you race your teammate? Are you going to go for it just the same?
Yeah, you know, whenever you're racing with who you know, Buddy, I know he's really good. I saw him on the screen behind me, and I knew I had to stand on it because he's going to stand on it. So that's what we did, and happy to bring the Yahoo car to victory lane.
History was made last year. What have you learned in the last year to bring into this Chili Bowl to be even better?
I feel like a lot of patience, honestly. It takes a lot of patience to come out here and run these laps, and you got to be really prestigious, and, you know, going out here and winning and not risking tearing up your car or anything like that is really important for Saturday night, and hopefully we do good the rest of the night.
Kaylee Bryson with a crucial heat race win there, guys.
Our K1 interview. Thank you, guys. So we got word from our reporter down in the infield, Chris Moore, reported that Kreisel took 2 pushes to get up and going after that red flag. So the second push is why he was sent to the back of the field. Again, that's according to Chris Moore from the infield. Thank you for the information. Rough break for Kreisel. Big benefit to Kofoid, who it's going to be a tough score to overcome. However, a couple of drivers are going to have a shot at it, and we'll see how they sequence out. Here's the lineup for heat race number 2. It's Josh Balicki on the pole out of Wisconsin. Next to him, it's Cameron Wilhite from Colorado making up the front row. Kinzer Edwards and Curtis Jones are in the second row, while it's Tim McCready and Trey Burke in row number 3, Chance Crum and Jordan Kinzer in row 4, with Anthony Pope out of Roseburg, Oregon, coming off inside row number 5, starting 9.
Good opportunity here for Chance Crum, I think, starting in that 7th spot on that inside. Has an opportunity pick off a couple here following Tim McCready. Certainly a lot of experience down the inside of that 3rd and 4th row, 2nd and 3rd row.
The Rudine Racing, Race Rudine Foundation, Haggerty Reality Services, number 26. Car has been very good this year, and Chance gets better and better every time he is in it. Going to be interesting. He's going to have to get around McCready, and McCready is going to be tough from the inside. But again, like we heard, Tim is searching for more speed in that car, so get him isolated, find a way around him, and got a pretty good shot.
See Trey Burke out there in car number 21.
Right next to McCready in the 3rd row. Jordan Kinzer was quick in hot laps, very fast. He's starting next to Crum. The guy starting 9th is a dwarf car driver from out in the Northwest. They actually leave that car in San Antonio for Anthony Pope and then fly down, work on it right before the Chili Bowl, and bring her on up to race it. So Anthony Pope, dwarf car driver extraordinaire in the Northwest, trying his hands with some midget racings. Ran into him and Pat Desbians in the pit area on Sunday on my walk through, and got the whole story on that.
The caution lights are out for Josh Balicki. What an opportunity for Josh, running with Ramco Speed and Kevin Ramey and Taylor Courtney this week. Chili Bowl rookie, certainly no rookie behind the wheel. Part-time in the Cup Series with Live Fast in 2023 coming up, but now an opportunity at the Chili Bowl. Balicki will help your front row, and we're underway in race number 2.
Everybody plays nice through 1 and 2. A nice even line on the inside before chaos begins in the back straightaway. Burke got the nose of the race car in the air, and his Kinzer was trying to go up and around the outside of him. McCready lost a bunch of spots in that exchange. You're watching Burke in the black, blue with white number 21 and the familiar Rudine Racing 26 on the inside. His Chance has now gone from 7th, and he's working for 4th. He's got it. He's looking for 3rd from Curtis Jones. Now Crum has got that position as well. Look out, Trey Burke. Let's add to that flip count as he is upside down.
Just caught up there on the outside with the contact down below. And that front end tore up on that 21 machine. Kind of was running through the middle there, kind of bottled everybody up on that previous lap through turns 1 and 2, trying to just fight for the same point of real estate on the racetrack. And they'll put that 21 car back on all fours.
Add 1 to the Worldwide Technologies Raceway flip count, which should be at 8 now. 9, make it 9. 9's good by me. Brian's on the scene. A flip count, which should be at 8 now. 9, make it 9. 9's good by me. Brian's on the scene. Brian, how's the damage?
Guys, a lot of the same damage we see. A lot of these incidents where the front end gets hard into the wall, your right front radius rods are bent, the shock mount is broke. Well, the shaft is broke out of the shock. The top of it's still connected to the axle. We'll get a word in with Trey as soon as he gets on the UTV over here. Getting the helmet off. And he'll get a ride back up the ramp. Trey got into that outside wall, kind of a hard hit. First of all, how you feeling?
Feel fine, you know. Classic Chili Bowl, lots of drivers, not a lot of talent, you know. Kind of got stuck in the heat race, you know. Dude lost control and came up right into me, man.
You got a big team back there helping you out. Who do you got here that's going to be helping put this car back together for later on tonight?
Well, we got the whole Star family, we got my family, and I know we got a lot of friends here that are going to help us out. I know it's just the little things, and we're going to be all right.
Trey Burke frustrated with it here in the heat race for him tonight. They will make those repairs. I believe everything on that chassis can be put together, just all the bolt-on stuff. They'll get it ready to go for the C-Main tonight.
So I wasn't very good at physics in high school. Let's take a look here at the Ibach Springs replay. Up, over the right rear, and into it. And you saw
I kind of just felt like he just ran over his right rear. We talk about putting yourself in a bad spot in turn 3. You know, it's easy to do, but it didn't appear that it's Curtis Jones right in the 51. Didn't lose control by any means.
Yeah,
And
opportunity, I think, for Burke. If he just backed out of it, pointed that car down the hill, he probably could have gotten 2 for 1.
here's something we know about Curtis. He's got a lot of laps around here, and he's been, you know, a lot of laps in a micro, and he's been at more than a few Chili Bowls. Knows what he's doing. Not necessarily the guy that I would want to accuse of being out of control or squirrely. But to each their own. Your race leader out in front of this
Kinzer Edwards.
is Kinzer Edwards. Josh Balicki sitting second. Curtis Jones is third. Chance Crum is fourth. Jordan Kinzer sitting in the fifth spot.
Good start there for Edwards to try to just yard Josh Balicki, who's now in the clutches of Jones. There goes Crum. And the Redeem 26 going to go right around the outside of Curtis Jones.
And that's just using superior race car there. Knew he had the speed, just drove right around him. Now he's going to come up on Balicki.
Here comes McCready.
Nice rebound for Tim McCready. McCready's going to be right up on the back of Crum, looking for a position. Chance desperately trying to get around Balicki as here comes Kinzer. McCready and Crum to a battle for third as Crum trying to get around the outside. Got to be careful. Bumper car is going to cost him a couple of spots. And there goes McCready moving his way into the position.
Yeah, that hole just opened, and there goes Kinzer right through. So move McCready now into that third spot. Kinzer, or second spot. Kinzer now up to third, and Jordan Kinzer's going to have an opportunity to come from that 8th starting spot looking for second. White flag is out. Edwards, this may be a battle for the lead here in a minute. 3 cars, throw a blanket over them. Final time through 3 and 4. Kinzer Edwards going to win. Battle for second at the stripe. Give it to Jordan Kinzer. Maybe. There it goes. Okay.
Yeah,
wanted to make sure
got it.
timing and scoring got it right, or at least we had it updated. What a battle for second. So Jordan Kinzer from the 8th starting spot goes to second. Tim McCready 5-3.
We've already seen 2 huge runs from the back of these heat races after last night. Not really seeing any at all. So Chance Crum with a bit of a mistake there. Cost himself a really good run forward, but should be able to still get some redemption in a qualifier.
7-4 is worth 94 points on that for Chances. We'll go up top to Georgia.
We'll give him a moment to get his helmet off. That is Kinzer Edwards, winner of heat race number 2. And Kinzer, how were you able to get to the lead and keep it there through what was a wild heat race behind you?
It was a wild heat race, but I just kept it on the bottom. I got a really good mentor, Andrew Deal. I'll be back tomorrow to sell some more tires to pay for this thing.
What kind of adjustments are you thinking about before heading into the qualifiers?
Just keeping my head right. This is a big stage for me, like just a micro driver from Oklahoma.
Making the most of it.
Do what?
Making the most of it.
I am making the most of it and having a blast doing it.
That's what Chili Bowl is all about. Kinzer Edwards getting it done, heat race number 2.
Good race win for him. 2 down, 6 to go as you get a look at the NOS Energy Drink ramp cam. And those, of course, are our K1 race gear interviews that you are seeing with Georgia and Connor up at the top of the ramp. Glad to have you in with us wherever you guys are. Our third heat race on the track's got Dylan Archer out of Keller, Texas on the pole with Brayton Lynch next to him from Springfield, Illinois. Last night's O'Reilly Invitational Race of Champions winner Spencer Baston inside row number 2 with Mariah Eade next to him in the 71. Austin Langenstein in 21, Sean Deskins in 45, Johnny Brown Jr. 251, Cody Trammell in 17. Michael Pickens draws the 9th spot, looking to become the first guy to come first in a heat race here on the week. And Pickens has got a shot, but he's going to have to chase down some fast cars up ahead of him.
Yeah, absolutely. Big opportunity, especially if you can catch a caution right, depending on how this race at the front kind of files out. If it goes single file, certainly we saw Buddy Kofoid get close, a 9-2 run. So we'll have to see what happens with Pickens, but certainly no slouch behind the wheel. It'll be fun to watch. The driver out of Auckland, New Zealand. But of course, Spencer Baston's been the talk of the Expo Center for much of the week in terms of practice speed on Sunday. Of course, what he did last night in the Race of Champions, lightning quick in their qualifying session for that race, and then of course winning the race. And so certainly I think a lot of people have turned their attention to Spencer Baston this week as a possible contender to take home a gold driller. His opportunity starts tonight.
Also layered throughout this field, Mariah Eade in one of the Keith Coates Motorsports cars. Those are always dangerous. They always have some speed. We'll watch her going from the outside of that second row. Deskins is fast, but a wild card. I guess the best way to put it.
Yeah, you just kind of never know what you're going to get out of Sean Deskins. It's kind of hit or miss inside this building, but when he's on, he's certainly on. And opportunities aplenty here in this heat race for sure. I think a lot of the drivers at the top of the ramp are kind of watching these heat races on FloRacing and kind of studying what they need to do and seeing that track conditions are there.
Yeah, you see some guys make some big runs, and that you probably put a little more pressure on yourself to make a big run. So don't force yourself into a mistake here, but definitely got to get aggressive.
Compared to last night where our scoring had one guy at 115, we've already got 2 over 120 as the green is out in this. From the bottom, trying to hang on, it's Archer. Lynch loses control, gets off the throttle though, and we'll try it again.
I think we'll see our first penalty here. Spencer Baston may have just got gifted the front row.
And we'll await Terry Bannock's word. He's going to point, and there it was. So Archer penalized back a row. So Spencer Baston, your Chili Bowl continues with another gift.
Bank error in your favor, collect $200.
Uh-huh.
Or in this case, collect 2 free positions and
10 points, at least right now.
So Baston will be credited starting third on the initial drop. We'll start from the pole now on this restart as we're back underway. Heat race number 2. Lynch around the outside's got Mariah Eade poking her nose underneath as Archer popping a wheel stand on the back straightaway. He's going to sell into fourth.
1, 2, and 3.
Oh, look out, Michael Pickens. The dangers of starting in the back, going to try to put it 3 wide from 9th. Trying to find his way around Deskins, he will, but that could have been disaster on the front straightaway. Now poking his nose underneath Archer. Pickens from 9th already to 5th. He's got 4th.
Man, he's using all of this racetrack to do it as he was right up against the fence down the back chute nearly the whole way. Now eyeballing and trying to move forward on Langenstein, who's carrying the low groove, washes up a little bit out of 2. Pickens eyeballs him down the back straightaway. Marks the car in high, starting into 3, drifts it back out of 4 as he continues to try to look for the way around Langenstein as we're at the halfway point of this heat race.
Yeah, Pickens at topside 3 and 4. Not where he wants to be, but just throws it in there from the parking lot. And Pickens now takes over 3rd. What a move. Saw the opening, took advantage. 3 laps to go. Now he's got Mariah Eade there in the 2nd spot.
It is Eade trying to hang on. Down to 2 laps left, and Pickens has got all kinds of speed. He attacks on the bottom of 1 and 2. Mariah got it up just off the corner, front end contact to the rear tires of Eade, and then he goes way up racetrack, and that may cost him a chance at 3rd here on the final lap as the white flag's in the air.
White flag out for Spencer Baston, who just ran away in high through 3 and 4. Spencer Baston takes home heat race number 3. Brayton Lynch comes home 2nd. Mariah Eade 3rd. Michael Pickens will go 9 to 4. Austin Langenstein will round out your top 5. So Spencer Baston 3 to 1 doing what he needs to do.
To be really epic, Pickens needed one more spot, 9-4 worth 104 points. One more position would have been 116, and that's a really, really good run. But 104, good enough to get him into a qualifier for sure here on Tuesday night on Warren Cat qualifying night. These have been fun. There hasn't been a boring one, and there very rarely is here at the Chili Bowl.
We're already seeing our track widen out a little bit more quickly than we did yesterday. There's definitely a black slick groove through 1 and 2 at least, and we know the track crew kind of thought that we were bottom dominant a little bit